Welcome everyone to another fun video I wanted to make for some weeks, if not months already, and we shortly talked about this probably on my more main channel, but it's this time again. The Linux Foundation announces crazy shit. If you look here, breaking news, Linux Foundation announces the launch of the Open MetaVerse Foundation. San Francisco, the Linux Foundation, non-profit organization focused on fostering innovations through open source, has established the formation of the Open MetaVerse Foundation when even the Facebook's Meta original is not successful and even Apple stops their artificial intelligence, artificial reality stuff there allegedly. Industries to work on developing open source software for inclusive, global, vendor-neutral, scalable metaverse. So what is my problem with that, right? To me, for quite a while now, I've totally no idea what the bloody Linux Foundation is doing. And to me, outside, it looks totally like a scam and money laundry stuff. Because so what is the problem, right? You would think the Linux Foundation is supporting all the surrounding Linux kernel stuff and infrastructure, and they do to a very tiny degree, right? If you look at the latest report here, and also it's this report is like full with, I mean, sure, it's nicely designed, probably they paid some designers and so on €10,000s for their bloody report, but it's like there is nothing concrete, right? The whole bloody report is like full with photo shoots and buzzwords and stuff, and so like the only revenue is like the second freaking, like the kind of last page, like if you count the back cover there, but like on the bloody last page, like this is their revenue sources and expenses, and it's like Linux kernel support 3.4 freaking %, right? It's like you had one freaking job. It's kind of the Mozilla Foundation, like Mozilla had one bloody job to build one freaking amazing browser, and all they do is VPNs and pockets and other crazy stuff, right? In my opinion, the Linux Foundation, if it's not like some pseudo open source money laundry and scam foundation, then it should be like 90% founding of Linux kernel and surrounding stuff. And they have here 177 million. It's not like 1 million. Sure, they pay Linus Torvalds like $500,000 plus benefits. So allegedly, I think the last time I looked into this, Linus Torvalds gets like 1.7 million, which he kinda earns. And they also pay some surrounding people like Crow Hartman and stuff. Not as much though, so they spend like some 4 or 5 million probably in Linux kernel surrounding, off the top of my head, right? But like, what else do you want to call this instead of scam and money laundering? And like, the Linux kernel foundation should do bloody Linux kernel stuff, right? And also finance Xorg, Wayland, Mesa 3D, Wine. It's like, why are they founding? My question and point is, why are they founding 70-ish% or 80%, okay, community infrastructure? So community infrastructure is also like 20 million, right? Like, what are they freaking doing with 20 million in community infrastructure? But anyway, okay, let's say 20% or so of Linux community infrastructure is will spend like basically my summary is still like 80% they waste for random bullshit. And when you take a look at the random bullshit, it's like, who, like, raise your finger, who freaking wants the Linux Foundation do open freaking metaverse, right? The problem is this is not Linux kernel, right? Like, we will never have, like, if the major source of funding and coordination and stuff is not investing probably much, if at all, in Xorg, Wayland, KDE, GNOME, Wine. Like when I just sit here, I have like hands full of useful projects like glibc, GCC, LVM, Clang. It's like you have like dozens of amazing and important infrastructure things to finance, and all you do is Metaverse Foundation. It's like, which Linux kernel developer or embedded and desktop infrastructure ever was sitting there? It's like, hey, I want bloody open metaverse. It's like, Who? Why? For what? And like this we will never have the year of the Linux desktop. And that is not the first time, right? I shouted this out before. It just recently, they also announced X-Stack of project will bring farms online. It's like, it's kind of a nice project. How can this be like in the primary scope of the bloody Linux Foundation, right? Undertaking a massive task of assigning farm fields within GeoID, enabling new digital infrastructure. It's like why? And stuff like this. Also here, Overture, I'm not sure if that is the same thing here, of Linux Foundation announces from an Overture Maps Foundation. And it's like the Linux Foundation is full with bloody projects like this. For me, it is a little bit like what previously was the Apache Foundation of founding otherwise unsuccessful, like Apache Foundation, founding everything but the Apache web browser, which is already not the most successful anymore. If you look here, this is straight from the Linux Foundation website, like decentralized innovation built on trust, like I would not trust them with my money of this 180 millions. Neutral, trusted hub for developers and organizations to code, manage, and scale open technology projects and ecosystems. In my opinion, if you are the Linux Foundation, you should do Linux-related stuff, and not like 850, also 2 million developers trained, like, okay, a little bit, or developers, it's like lines of code added weekly. It's like, yeah, but where, not in the Linux kernel, right? And when you look here, featured projects, Cloud Native, Computing Foundation, OpenSSF, LF, Linux Foundation Networking, O3DF, I mean, RISC-V of one of the more useful things. But even here, like raise a hand, many of these bloody projects, I don't even freaking know. Excuse me, I'm still recovering, as you might have guessed. Like, most of this stuff I don't even know. Like what are they doing for? It's like, also so many projects, you already view more here, right? We are only at freaking C, and then this bloody new website, you can't even quickly get a new list. It's like they don't even want you to know what they even bloody finding, because you need to like 80 times or so click on bloody view more, and we are only at K. Why is the freaking, I mean, I would not even expect that this project, like many of these projects are probably like just under this umbrella and don't even have benefits. You can't tell me that they pay all those projects. I would have that really hard to believe. And we're not the only one, right? Other people, I just Googled that here, and obviously other Landloop Journal of Technology also pointed this out. Linux Foundation only just spends 3.4% of its money on Linux, here by Brian Landduke. So, organization that effectively controls Linux and employs the creator of Linux just published its yearly report, 177 million, also what I found. I think this might be the last report. Maybe the 2022 report is not yet out. I only shout this out here, even if it's like 1 year data. I don't expect the last year's data changed significant in all the spendings, but it's like, how exactly of those categories break down, amount of revenue coming from individual projects, how much were spent on each project support, and it's like, yeah, no idea. I have no idea. And here they also question, like what are they even doing? It's like public health, saving the planet, buzzword bingo, what is the Linux Foundation for? And I have the same question, right? I mean, not that I would expect to get some $1,000 for my Linux distribution or other. I would find that, again, in my opinion, they should found all the really important projects. You can't tell me that any of those bloody projects, I maintain 5,000 open source packages in our T2 Linux distributions, right? And I heard of a lot of stuff in 25 years of open source. Most of these bloody projects I have even freaking never effing heard about a word. hey, at least Open Power Foundation, whatever, and Open Printing. Hey, finally some things like cups I at least freaking heard about. And the problem I have is, to me, this looks like they get a lot of money from this member companies, like that, many of which just are member to, here are the members, many of which are just there as like get out of the GPL jail card for free or like for money, like even Microsoft and previously IBM, Samsung and all the other, or even VMware, right, members that had GPL violation court cases and stuff. And it's like many are there just for the advertising of like, hey, look at us, we are like the good guys and contribute there. And then the Linux Foundation has nothing better to do than spending and wasting money on open agriculture and metaverse stuff. In my opinion, it's like nothing wrong with open agriculture, but there should be like some open agriculture and like open farming and whatever foundation. In my opinion, that's not the bloody job of the bloody Linux Foundation. Similar to this Open MetaVerse. Why are they doing nonsense? Like raise your hand. Even if you say many of these other projects are amazing, maybe they are, I don't know many of them, but with this kind of stuff, I would say this is totally not like, nobody is freaking asking for that, right? It's an unsuccessful stuff that even is not successful. It's at Facebook. It's not like even we're cloning some successful Facebook stuff or like Apple stuff. No, they are like open sourcing some unsuccessful metaverse shit, and that is what I don't get, right? And this is why, like, is this a scam? Is it like this is kind of like some tax-free money? Like to me this really looks, and I tried to find out what they are freaking doing here. To me this really looks like some tax-free money redistribution scam of all those IBM, Facebook, Panasonic, Huawei, Microsoft and stuff. Like it's a kind of this US thing of foundation thing of just having there some tax-free money to just spend at their goodwill, right? Throwing a party, throwing a conference. Sure, they're financing with this tiny percentage of 1 to 3 or 5% some kernel plumbers conference and stuff, but otherwise this New Horizons for open source, all those individual people like you and me and all the other developers at Debian, Gentoo, Arch and stuff, we are all doing the hard work. Heck, maybe even Apple is doing more significant stuff to LVM Clang than the Linux Foundation ever has contributed to GCC and LVM Clang for that matter, of all the modern compiler infrastructure stuff. And this is what I really wonder, right? 30 years, Linux is everywhere, yes, but not thanks to the Linux Foundation, right? Linux is everywhere due to the hard work of all the students, hobbyists, people working in universities and founding companies out of that, even Red Hat SUSE and stuff, but certainly not thanks to the Linux Foundation, which has mostly buzzwords here, right? It's like, yeah, everything rainbow and the skies, update from the chair of boards, like the last 2 years demonstrated even more clearly technology is crucial fabric that weaves society and economy together. It's like, yeah, but what is the Linux Foundation? The Linux Foundation is not, in my opinion, it would be much more fair if there would be a program, if like, first of all, they spend the most significant amount of money, like 80% directly on Linux related stuff, and found some major useful stuff that I outlined, Wine, Mesa and so on. And hey, freaking even Rust, right? And then also, instead of having all this corporate bullshit thing here and buzzword and hyperword and stuff, pay this more directly to the community, right? Why is there not a program, let's say even if it would be for a mere 20%, why is there not like all the contributors to Linux kernel and related projects, based on contributions amount and quantity and quality, get some payout, right? That all the people that put in their life for years and decades get at least something. I'm not even saying like Linus Torvalds a million, but at least why are all the major contributors that for decades keeps us running not get some $1,000 at least for like even Donald Knuth of all his binary dollar checks is paying more for typos in his bloody box than the Linux Foundation for patches. Open source brings out the best of people. Yeah, but money does not bring out the best of people, right? Money is somehow creating amazing. It's like, yeah, the Linux Foundation board of directors is like, why are there here like no major community contributors? Why? Sure, those people give their money, but then they have like Meta, Oracle, nice new brave open source word, right? Led to you by Meta, Oracle, Intel, AT&T, Hitachi, VMware, Huawei, Qualcomm, Microsoft, NEC, and Ericsson, right? Thank you to our members and communities, but we're not giving you a cent. We spent it for our corporate open metaverse bullshitting. The crazy thing is I scrolled over this, right? I tried to find more data. It's like, yeah, all the members, like, yeah, thank you much. And this also, so many people here are silver and gold members and stuff, and probably give this some money. But the crazy stuff is similar to the Mozilla Firefox Foundation stuff. There is so little to show for, right? Firefox is not the world's leading open source browser, unfortunately. And Linux is, sure, used everywhere, but still not the leader of the Linux desktop. And where it is used everywhere, it's not thanks to the Linux Foundation management. And here again, serving over 750, I guess in the meantime it's 800, right? So in 1 year time, they added 100 projects. Like how the Linux Foundation, as also mentioned here, right? What is the Linux Foundation for? Apparently for 750 or 850 open source projects, but not for the bloody Linux desktop and stuff, right? Again, buzzwords, cloud containers, virtualization, network, edge, AI, privacy, freaking blockchain. Like, have you ever seen a successful blockchain project? No. Linux kernel 2.2%. Visual effects, hey, at least they finance visual effects, probably including this slides. Faster growing quality is like where is the quality, right? And where even is directly the 1 billion lines of code that apparently they financed? But quantity is not quality, right? I mean, the crazy stuff is maybe they have so much money of 180 million that they just need random projects. Maybe I should apply there. And also an average of 14,000 freaking emails were sent per month by community members. It's like, yeah, we are amazing because we send lots of emails. It's, nah. Anyway, powering many initiatives in communities large and small, but the crazy stuff is I have never seen or came across a successful, useful Linux Foundation like project management contribution. It's like, it's absolutely crazy how a foundation like fintech community highlights fintech open source foundation. It's like, oh, it's, oh, God give me patience, and it's, are all of you not thinking, the first thing you think about Linux Foundation is fintech open freaking source foundations, FinOS, right? It's like, if you need examples of Linux Foundation bullshit, it's like, look no further than fintech open source foundation. Hyperledger foundations, it's like, is this not all the primary most important things that you think about when you think about what needs to be better in Linux kernel and open source circles and support? Enabling training and certifications, it's actually one of the more useful things. although even there I've not even seen the Linux Foundation the most, to be honest. Open source summits, certainly a more useful thing. Embedded Linux conference. I mean, yeah, the conferences are certainly one of the more useful things, or like what they should actually do. But also attendees, right? 1,944. I have more. I as an unsuccessful small YouTuber, I have more freaking subscribers, even on my more live channel, than the Linux Foundation has attendees on their bloody conferences. It's ridiculous. Sure, you could argue it's like kernel plumbers in-person highlight stuff. But in my opinion, these are ridiculously small numbers to show for 480 million, in my opinion. What else do they have here? OpenSSF, Open Source Security Foundation. It's like, have you even ever heard about them? It's like why are they not freaking funding OpenSSL, right? I mean, we had major open source, the Linux Foundation exists longer, and we had major OpenSSL and related project security issues. Remember all the breaking news, like industry-wide security issues, and the Linux Foundation was nowhere to be seen as a long-term funding for such projects. And then like even curl, and that's the thing, right? Even people like OpenSSL, curl, GNU PGs, like, yeah, we have no funding, right? But the Linux Foundation spends all their money on cyber bullshit and buzzwords. And 5G, right? The Linux Foundation community's members create centers of gravity for open collaboration across technology, vertical segments, and also like even already this buzzword speech here, right? Entertainment, agriculture, like, did I make this shit up? No. Agriculture, 5G, the edge, AI voice. Also, by the way, I've rarely seen like all the open source speech stuff. Is also leaves a lot to be desired. But yeah, 5G, right? What has the bloody Linux Foundation to do with 5G, right? All we want is the most amazing operating system for servers and desktops, and we will never have the year of the Linux desktops, because all the Linux Foundation is doing is agriculture and 5G, right? Xstack, Linux Foundation project. It's like the Linux Foundation project, the Linux Foundation has more strange freaking projects like Xstack than like contributing and funding to real useful open source projects, right? Launches Xstack Foundation, digital infrastructure project for the world's agriculture ecosystem. 33% of all food produced is waste. I mean, yeah, all the stuff. I'm the first who says yes, that are issues, but how are these freaking issues for the Linux Foundation? I have no freaking works anymore. O3DE, Open Foundation and Open 3D Engine. It's like, yeah, nice, but do they sponsor Mesa 3D? Do they sponsor Wine? What is with Blender? Open Voice Network? And it's like, in 5G ecosystems, it's like, I'm speechless. FinOps Foundation, it's like, you had me at FinOps Foundation. Mobile networks at scale with Magma. February, the Linux Foundation announced the world's launch for an open source industry collaboration focused on enabling converged cellular core network stack. It's like, also, I mean, obviously Huawei and stuff are in there. It's like they get payments from Huawei and NEC and Ericsson, and then they spend the money directly back to pseudo bullshit projects in this type of fields they are working. Linux Foundation Edge, accelerating Edge, natural extension of cloud computing is Edge Cloud construct, increasingly viewed as the key enabler for fourth industrial revolution. Are you not totally happy and thrilled that the Linux Foundation LF Edge launched almost 3 years ago. Have you ever heard about this? Have they done any meaningful work there? And also, I mean, this is, imagine how much work goes in, right? This is a total advertising flyer thing. And you would expect from the annual report, so this is all business speak, right? Business speak advertising, also public health, right? Combating COVID with LFPH, Linux Foundation Public Health, LFPH. This is, in my opinion, this is such a strange buzzword advertising bingo bullshit. You can't even make this stuff up, right? Linux Foundation Public Health. It's like seriously, this is not a medical foundation. It's, what has the bloody Linux Foundation to do with it? I mean, you would think that the United States and Germany and the EU and Europe have their public health and project and stuff. It's like, why the F needs to get the Linux Foundation involved there and spend their money in related projects? I don't get it, right? It's totally, they don't have any quality, and the quality they are missing, they're trying to make up with quantity, right? Instead of focusing what the Linux Foundation was supposed to do, they do everything, and the kitchen sink, and the plumbing, and agriculture and public health, but not the bloody Linux kernel. And we are not even freaking done, right? I mean, I just scroll over some pages here, and it's like, yeah, Linux kernel support 3.4%. Judge, I have no further questions. And it is sad, right? It is absolutely crazy, and I mean, the thing is that not you and me, there is not probably mostly, I don't know if they get small individual donations, but the problem is it's like a total business driven IBM, Ericsson, Huawei, Samsung and stuff, Microsoft, Oracle. It is probably no wonder that this Linux Foundation, I can't even take them seriously anymore, right? I've never seen something useful from them except founding some infrastructure in Linus Torvalds. But then the Linux kernel was not really differently developed than when Linus Torvalds was working at Transmeta, right? So, except paying Linus Torvalds and some surrounding infrastructure contributors some salary, I would call this 80+% bullshit. And from what I see from the outside, from the news and this report and stuff, it reflects the business thinking of the members, right? Those members from IBM over Facebook and so on to Huawei and Samsung, they run the Linux Foundation with this board of directors, or how they call that. They run it like their companies, right? And this is probably why this reflects in what the Linux Foundation is doing. There is even here, board of directors. I mean, also, like, how can, I mean, sure, it's a $180 million foundation. And then it's like, because, like how does the Linux Foundation need such an amount of board of directors, right? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16, 18, 20, so 25 freaking directors or what? It's, I don't know. I find it increasingly ridiculous. I can't take it seriously. For me, it looks like a really strange money redistribution scheme. And it is sad how much money is randomly wasted. Except it's from the big mega corporations, right? But yeah, let's go through the comments. So that's basically my take here on this really strange stuff. And I mean, Open MetaVerse Foundation, right? This is like a satire show. It's like it's a circus. It's even the previously open agriculture stuff is ridiculous. But yeah, welcome everyone. Happy to hear you're happy to watch this. Yeah, people, time to move to BSD, money problem. And the thing is, because I just read the money problem, most open source projects have a money problem, right? Very few open source projects have a healthy funding and so on. And the Linux Foundation has nothing better to do than waste most of the 180 million they have. Wouldn't surprise me if with all the growth the last years, maybe in the meantime they have over 200 million. Speculation for me. And that is a really sad thing, right? While most open source people struggle, the Linux Foundation is just throwing strange corporate bullshit buzzword parties and more foundations, right? It's ridiculous. Let's see, optimize, fast, lightweight. Question, I can make an optimized and fast, lightweight with T2, want to make a distribution that uses, yeah, of course you can do that. That's exactly what you can use our T2 Linux 4. Memes Foundation, because very sad that the only thing Linux low RAM level kills the process. Yeah, even T2 is even in the default configuration, right? I've run this on 40 megabyte memory, Spark stations and 3 and 46s and stuff. People mostly agree there in the comments. Things they made in PDF document, we look at the metadata that they use macOS. Yeah, I'm also right now using macOS because I need to sell Mac software to make a living, as most open source projects, and also obviously Apple Silicon, right? And I can't as efficiently live stream from macOS. Why is it couldn't? That is interesting. Couldn't find specification for x86. Looks like I need to. I'm rebuilding. This is a fresh installation. Also, we can actually neo-fetch. And this is a brand installation here on the Horizon, and I wanted to rebuild everything and see what is, because otherwise we get reports from other people. So basically dogfooding our own Linux distribution, unlike the Linux Foundation. Let's skip over that for a second and let's continue the other stuff. Wouldn't surprise me, but I'm obviously right now not the best example here. But there even was probably like that. Adobe PDF InDesign, yeah, it's created on. Obviously they paid some design studio for this kind of stuff, right? But yeah, you've seen me. The problem is I'm right now live streaming at home and I can't, with a 2-year-old and stuff, stack all my abundant vintage and so on stuff. And on the Horizon, I'm embarrassingly parallel cross-compiling, and which is why this is set up like that in my home office. But otherwise, of course, I'm live streaming from my own Linux distribution. So yeah, but also that comes, people want like, hey, can't you support Apple Silicon stuff? Like, yeah, I can, but then I sometimes need to use my laptop efficiently with hardware, because obviously it still takes a while until Apple Silicon hardware encoder is supported in ASI kind of Linux kernel patches. They work on fintech. Finos think highly of themselves, but never gotten anything useful out of it. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. Longyap is curious with the open source metaverse. Honestly, you can quote me in some years. I totally don't expect that there will ever be anything out of there, right? Raise your hands. Who is still, what is the Second Life stuff? Who is freaking still Second Life, right? The bloody I mean, I would, is this even Second Life? It probably is it, huh? I think this Second Life stuff is as old as 20 years, right? And even that I've never used. And then Facebook makes like a clone of that with this Facebook MetaVerse stuff, like kind of clone and stuff. I mean, excuse me, even this bloody Second Life stuff is not the most successful, right? But even that is still around. I don't see this ever going anywhere, right? To me, I mean, let's discuss it in a year or 2 or 5 and 10. But I don't see any useful stuff coming out of this, right? I expect this a pure money redistribution scam here, to be honest. And we're starting to see the potential of the metaverse. When even, like, nobody even is freaking using the bloody, like which potential, right? Like, they get into something that even effing Facebook has completely no users and potential, right? It's like, there was even a bloody article of nobody is even freaking using metaverse, right? Like, which potential is, nobody cares about the bloody, there was even, nobody cares, nobody wants. At times they were like no one is even freaking using it, right? Whatever. You get the idea. It's hilarious. It's absolutely crazy. So as usual, when we talk a little bit, then it gets too long and just random rambling. Under what circumstances are they looking for projects that deserve to be funded? I don't expect they actively look, right? To me, it looks like those corporate directors just randomly do their own business kind of stuff, right? I mean, probably you could apply. I mean, maybe I should try to apply and see if they... But I mean, the thing is, I'm realistic, right? I have absolutely no expectations that they would accept a project like our T2 Linux. Maybe like Debian. Do they even have freaking Debian? Probably not. Hey, what is it? No, this is not Dragonfly BSD. What the freaking heck is that? Efficient, stable, secure file distribution, image isolated based on peer. What the heck? Have you even ever freaking heard about this? I mean, I know about freaking Dragonfly BSD. Open source P2P based image and file distributed system designed to improve. It is absolutely crazy. The problem is also that it's very intransparent, right? I have zero idea what kind of funding these projects receive, if any. Absolutely madness. Those who can't, let's see. Those who can do, those who can't teach or work. It's not for profit, like become jack of all trade bills. Gates Foundation. Most of the Linux Foundation use Macs anyway, or Macs or Windows. I mean, probably all of those corporated directors, most of them probably use Windows. Don't tell me that you come from Intel, Microsoft, Huawei and stuff and don't use Windows. Other people agree. Money laundering, baby, ThinkPad, Linux devs. That's just sad. Life will be archived. Purpose being ensuring Linux never poses a risk. Similar to Mozilla Foundation, I mean, Mozilla Foundation, we discussed this, right? Instead of just focusing on making an amazing browser, trying to like Pocket and like even Rust they didn't support and fired the people or stuff. Absolutely crazy. Hey, someone, Sebastian says they used Second Life. Good club music, people stream music from home. Question there, does the T2 handbook have instructions building a Linux distribution? Yes, kinda, but honestly the handbook is, although mostly applies somewhat, like not in like 10 years, not much updated, because I stepped a little bit back from T2, obviously, as you've seen, for a decade, and then all the work already takes enough time that I honestly didn't had a like really time left over for working on the handbook. Also, the handbook is written in some Apache FOP or so, formatted object processor stuff that we copied from the Subversion handbook, which unfortunately is relying on some Java components and stuff that was always a pain to work with. So yeah, if you want to support some real stuff here, like a distribution for 31 architecture combinations, you know where to share, like, and subscribe, Patreon, GoFundMe, GitHub sponsorship, or just PayPal or so, or just super chat and thanks and stuff. We could maybe, so it's basically enough for this video. Leave in the comments below what more details you find, like if you research the stuff and so on, or if you also leave in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope you learned something and enjoyed this. And someone says I stopped donating to foundations nowadays, prefer directly donating to hardworking devs due to that. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, even the sad thing is that even stuff like the Red Cross has a very high management overhead stuff, right? Red Cross donation overhead. Many the problems I in general don't. Red Cross is proud that an average of 90 cents per dollar spent is invested in care. But here's fact check. So yeah, so much to. So I mean, I only heard this, right? I'm not an investigator and stuff. They claim American Red Cross pays its CEO nearly 600. And there's also a problem, right? That, I mean, I would not have a problem that CEOs of stuff like that get like 100,000, or, I mean, which most people already don't have a salary, but then like CEO worldwide, like WWF, World Wildlife Fund or stuff, and like all this stuff, like this outrageous salaries I find already crazy, right? I have no problem that people have a decent life, but even in the United States or Europe, you have a decent life with 100,000 or even 200,000, which is already at the top 10 or 5% or something. But like this kind of salaries, then I already don't donate anymore, right? Obviously. While spending 0.09 of every dollar collections on people in need, claims being floating around social media and stuff, very post chat, shows women as interest as this is not true, non-profit. Her annual salary was 600, is it not 600? So non-profit, something. Nah, whatever. Something. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this and learned something. But in general, most money is either there, like even in wars in Ukraine and so on. Best spent most directly, and so choose your foundations wisely. Wikipedia is also the kind of stuff where they collect money and more money and don't know how to spend it. But yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe. You probably have at least some Rust regression to take a look at, and then also more fun stuff to maintain and write. So have a good day and night. As usual, I hope you learned something, and see you soon for all the other news, live streams, and code work to come.